in a mutinous action against the president. Well, a day and a half later on Saturday night, he went ahead and ordered them to release those regardless, and now we know why they didn't want them released. I've spent hours last night and today digging through them, and it is bombshell. Not just what came out in the final tranche of 200-plus documents, but the 2,800 are incredible. And we're learning more by the minute with our listeners reading through it, our crew going over it. I mean, you're going to have revelations while we're on air in the next 2 hours. That said, I then got a call earlier today from one of my sources, and I made some other phone calls, and I just want to reveal to you right up front here, just like we broke the JFK info, a lot of folks think it's Manafort that'll be, or who has been indicted by the federal grand jury out of the swamp jury that would indict a ham sandwich or anything related to John Wayne out of the District of Criminals there in D.C., but would never go after Mueller with all of his Russian ties or uranium deals on the tarmac, or Bill Clinton meeting on the tarmac with the Attorney General, or all their Clinton Foundation activities, or Uranium One. But they would certainly be more than happy to go after Manafort for 13 wire transfers from perfectly legal offshore multinational bank accounts. And that was the word we got months ago. They were going to go after not filing paperwork properly on offshore accounts. You know, Google can pay zero tax, and IBM can, and all these other big corporations, and keep their money offshore. But if you keep after-tax money offshore like Manafort, we're going to put you in jail. We're going to claim it's illegal, or claim you didn't fill out all your IRS forms correctly, so you engaged in perjury. The government can lie as much as they want, so that's all they've got. And I'm going to reveal to you after the break that, yes, it's Paul Manafort who's going to be indicted. It's two of his aides. And I've got both names now of the aides, but I've only been asked to release one of the names because we've not been able to talk to the other person yet and don't want to break this for themselves and their families, because we don't know if they've been contacted by the federales, as Manafort and one of his other aides were contacted today. So remember, we broke back on September 19th that he would be indicted. He was told he would be indicted, which shows federal grand jury tampering. And 7 days later, the New York Times, using my same source, Roger Stone, confirmed the information. See, they told him ahead of time, you roll over and make up stuff about Trump and sing like a canary, sing like a cockatoo, we're going to throw you under the bus. Well, Manafort hadn't rolled over yet, but they think indicting two of his employees will get them to imagine whatever, not the FBI, but the special council made up by deep state Democrats with this anointed former FBI head like he's God, man. I mean, God in heaven doesn't make decisions. According to CNN, it's just Mr. Uranium One, Mr. Tarmac, Mr. 10 Russian companies that let him be an investor with no money down when their bylaws say 10 million investment. What are you going to do if you're Mueller and Comey and Hillary and the Podestas, and they're all up to their eyeballs in Russian payoffs? That's globalism. The sellout of America, hand over fist. What are you going to do? Well, you just come out and say, Russia, Russia, Russia. After it turned out he was in tarmac deals that I know you heard about from us years ago, but it's now mainstream news. Tarmac deals with the KGB/FSB, giving him secret weapons-grade uranium, and he's on the board of 10 companies with no investment, being given massive payments, and the Uranium One, and now it's hundreds of millions of dollars, not the 30 million to the Podestas we've been reporting for 2 years here. 2 weeks ago or a week ago, the reporter that broke the Uranium One information on the Podestas, her car blew up in Milan. So there's a lot going on here. But who would have thought that they would then zig when we zag? Well, we know they would. And so Friday, Mueller, the arrogant, stuffed suit example of the swamp, the bottom of the swamp, it was Malta where they had the car bomb. Sorry, I was going from memory and saying Milan. Malta, car bomb kills Panama Papers journalist, London Guardian. So they're trying to tie up all the loose ends right now. And so that's why they announced on Friday that there was a big group of indictments or indictment coming out. Indictment or indictments coming out on Monday. And obviously a lot of folks thought it would be Paul Manafort. Well, we did a little bit of investigating, and here is the latest intel directly from the sources. Urgent. Paul Manafort and his campaign deputy will, in all capitals, be indicted tomorrow morning with a third unidentified person. And I'll stop right there. The identified deputy is Rick Gates, a deputy of Paul Manafort. They do not know the charge, and the source does not know the charge. I'm going to stop right there. That's just one of my sources. Just like we told you that Trump was going to release the JFK files 9 days ago. They came out the same day and said Jones is insane. We've been told by Pompeo at the CIA they will not be released. And then they tried that double cross on Friday, not releasing 200 files. Trump said, you will release it. And last night they did. And that moves us to the rest of the story, ladies and gentlemen. Trump confirms all JFK files are released after latest clash with spy agencies. You can read the full Zero Hedge story with videos we've embedded up on Infowars.com and Newswars.com. And more, that's where you better be going, because Facebook, Twitter, YouTube have all blocked us using live streams since we put out the JFK info and the Manafort info. Since they know we have direct pipelines to the president, they are not prepared to let us do that. So we have to use sub-accounts, other people's accounts, to stream videos. And like whack-a-mole, they shut those down daily. So if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, you are watching a whack-a-mole who will be gone tomorrow. And we go through a lot of gesticulations to get them back up. That's why they want web ID, where governments say, oh, you have an ID to get online, so that they can try to stop us. And the stuff they hate is our own video of the president's press conference, or a whistleblower from the CIA. I mean, they cannot stand it. So you need to go to Infowars.com/show to find the free apps, the podcasts, our own audio feeds, our own video feeds. And I'd much less, send you somewhere else in these big communities, so we don't have to pay for the bandwidth. But that's where you go more and more if you don't want to be censored. So what is in the JFK files? I got to be honest with you. I said on air a week and a half ago or 9 days ago with Roger that I thought they'd black it all out, or I thought that they would hold back a lot of it. But Trump came through again in ways I can't believe. And it is the Surgeon General office. It is the FBI, the CIA, in their own official documents saying Kennedy was shot from the overpass in the throat and from the grassy knoll, the side of the head. And that LBJ was a KKK member, and that Kennedy was preparing to bring that out. And that they were going to stage terror attacks in America to declare martial law. And that Hitler was still alive in Argentina. And with photos of him, I mean, wow, this is something else. Probably should have started the broadcast with that today. But, I mean, I need to spend time with my family some. But I've been spending hours a day just clicking on the files, reading it, and then seeing what my crews come up with, what you, the viewers and listeners, have done. They put another 200 files out last night. We've scanned over most of them, but listeners, it's in the National Archives. We've got it linked on Infowars.com. We should probably top link it and just say, human intelligence. We need the people power. We, the people power, to go through these because, ladies and gentlemen, I've been up here broadcasting for hours today before we even did the regular syndicated radio/TV program. And I was live time while they were kicking us off YouTube and Facebook on our proxy accounts. And I'm just here. I mean, I'm a guy, 22 years on radio, proven benchmark of accuracy. They hate us. We've changed the world. They hate you. And they are just everywhere trying to shut us down in live time. And it's because we're accurate. I mean, what are they going to do as world government gets openly announced? And CNN admits that fluoride's giving kids brain damage. And they admit that diet sodas make you fat and give you brain damage. I've got the articles here today. And They admit world government's tyrannical and wants to sterilize you, and they admit all this stuff. And our government's funding radical Islam and using radical Islam to exterminate regular Muslims and Christians and Jews. I mean, it's just, what are they going to do when they thought they just ignored us for 22 years, and now everything we talked about is coming true exactly as we said? And why exactly as we said? Because it was in the documents. It was in a congressional committee that came a decade after the Warren Commission, with witnesses in the same files about the shooters on the overpass in the grassy knoll. We even know their names. And then later we did the deathbed confessions. It's just they're now admitting what we already knew. And this is a microcosm. I mean, I made films about the JFK assassination, put them out online for free, and showed with E. Howard Hunt's son, St. John Hunt, and the late, great Jim Marrs, where they shot from the overpass, where they shot from the grassy knoll, how they had triangulation from behind, the FBI documents on Oswald being CIA. But the media ignored the congressional hearing on the JFK assassination that found he was killed by more than one gunman and probably the CIA working with La Cosa Nostra. They just get on the news and say, you're crazy, you're crazy. Congress had those hearings. And so now, 53 years and 11 months later, 53 years, 11 months, and a few days later, so 20 seconds coming up, they killed the president of the United States in Dallas, Texas, my hometown. He died in the hospital I was born in. Come into the world, come out of the world. And the Surgeon General's report in the FBI's own report, go read all the documents from the CIA, said he was shot through the windshield, into the throat, blew out the back, one of his vertebrae. As we always told you, as the JFK film tells you, Oliver Stone vindicated, all of them vindicated. The actors in the movie vindicated. Jim Garrison vindicated, the Attorney General or the District Attorney down in New Orleans. Everybody vindicated. The hundreds of witnesses that pointed and said the shots are coming from the grassy knoll and the overpass. You hear guns going off and smoke.
Every morning before I start writing or shooting a video, I take 2 capsules of Brain Force for a sustainable burst of energy. This is, without question, the most powerful nootropic I've ever taken, and it comes with